Well, hey there, friends. We're here talking to our newest member of the WFMY News 2 weather team, Meteorologist James Scott. Welcome aboard. How you feeling to be here in Greensboro?
Oh, happy to be a part of News 2. Got to tell you, I've always been born and raised here. My first job was over in Charlotte, so just up the road now, up to the Triad. Happy to be here, and yeah, just happy to be part of News 2.
You're no stranger to us. You're no stranger to North Carolina. You've been a part of the community your whole life. But this is kind of an opportunity for folks out there that have been longtime News 2 viewers to get to know you. So I want to know a little bit more about your likes, your dislikes when it comes to weather, when it comes to life. One of the first questions I think people always want to know in North Carolina: Duke, UNC, NC State.
Good. I'm glad you brought out the third option because, yeah, not Duke or UNC. I am an NC State graduate of 2019. Go Pack, baby. You know, that Final Four run back in, what was it? Was it I think it was only 2 years ago. Seems like forever ago now already with all the changes that have been going on. But, I mean, that was just magical, seeing all of that and seeing the struggle of being an NC State fan since birth. Even though I was born in Chapel Hill, I grew up an NC State fan. I love the color red for whatever reason, maybe some rebellion against my parents because my mom was a professor at UNC there for a while. But I loved NC State. You know, sometimes sports aren't the kindest to us compared to the other two schools down the road, but yeah, I'll always be a Wolfpack lifer.
It can be fun to be the underdog sometimes.
It can be, especially, yeah, when we make some miracle runs. You know, and we have a good baseball team. We beat UNC more often than not in football, at least as of late. And, you know, so for the most part, I'm happy. A lot of changes going on as of late, but you know what? We'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
Well, this is a weather show. We don't need to get into that too much. But, you know, a lot of viewers, you might kind of notice this, actually, that sometimes it almost seems like a trend. Your local meteorologists, there tend to be a lot of connections to NC State and to the Wolfpack. But in our state of North Carolina, it's kind of the flagship meteorology program of the state, isn't it?
Yeah, that it is. You know, thanks for tooting my horn a little bit there. Of course, you know, there's UNC Asheville. They have a great program as well, but I'm really glad I got to stay pretty much just 20 minutes down the road from where I was born and raised. And I always say it was just far enough away where my parents didn't bother me, you know, constantly every day, but it's just close enough that I could come back and be like, yo, Mom, can you give me a little bit of scratch, a little bit of money real quick? So, no, it really was a perfect fit, and especially since, you know, I was a kid, you know, growing up cheering for them, loud and proud, it really was a dream come true.
Yeah, meteorology, you know, we talk about it as science on TV all the time, but it really is a small field. It's a small science overall. You can go to pretty much any college in the country and major in biology or, you know, political science or education, something like that, but there are only certain schools that actually offer meteorology. What was it, James, that got you interested in the weather in the first place?
It's just a quick note. You know, NC State has 30,000, maybe it's up to like 32,000 undergrad. I think I had 29 kids in my freshman class, which was pretty big for a meteorology program, even of a school that size.
Yeah.
There were 9 people that walked within 4 years. 9.
It's attrition.
Yeah.
A lot more math than people realize sometimes. I remember when I was in school, it was a similar thing. It kind of went in thirds. Every year you kind of lost a couple. Maybe they got a little smarter as to not continue with the weather program.
That's what I like to think. But to answer your question, what got me into meteorology, you know, I guess we were talking about on the show just yesterday, or, you know, a couple days ago. We were... you know, it was just a great time to be growing up in the 90s, early 2000s as a weather nerd, whether I knew it or not. I remember watching, you know, these 3 big movies, blockbuster movies, Day After Tomorrow. There was Twister, and then there was also The Perfect Storm. And I still have a poster about 5 feet tall of The Perfect Storm with Mark Wahlberg and George Clooney, and I can pretty much recite it by heart. Even though, you know, maybe a lot of people, that might be kind of a deep cut, honestly. I don't think a lot of people know about The Perfect Storm, especially compared to Twister and Day After Tomorrow, for example. But that was actually a big one, a big movie that really got me into meteorology. My dad tells me all the time, because we were walking downtown Chapel Hill along Franklin Street, and they have the Varsity Theater that is right there, you know, the local theater. And that poster, that exact poster that's in my room was right up there. And my dad almost lost me because I stopped. I stopped dead in my tracks looking up, and I was like, hey, Dad, do waves really get that big? It's a poster of like a boat, you know, the Andrea Gale going up the, you know, 50-foot wave. And it's just a cool memory that I'll always have.
It's a cool answer, because a lot of times people say, well, I remember the blizzard of '96, or a tornado went by my grandma's house, and it was. But for you, it was maybe more the movies than necessarily the actual weather.
That it was. I actually at first wanted to be a NASCAR driver, believe it or not.
Okay.
And then I saw the 2001 Daytona Live and everything that happened there. So I was like, okay, maybe not, maybe a future in NASCAR isn't for me. And sure enough, saw these movies. Another inspiring event was, my family loves going down to Oak Island. In fact, my dad owns a house there now. And when I was around that same age, 4, 5, 6, we saw 10 water spouts come down. Just one after another, boom, 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 over the span of maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours. It's funny, that was actually my first kind of glance into news, because the news crew actually came out and interviewed us. I was terrible. I did not make the cut. But my dad did, and I think we saw that tape around somewhere. Maybe you can find it.
So you knew you liked the weather. That was something that kind of carried you through. Did you know that you wanted to do the weather on television, or there are a lot more careers in weather that are usually behind the scenes that people might not know about at home?
I knew I wanted to do weather. I knew I wanted to do weather going into college. I wasn't really sure what.
Yeah.
And then going to college, I signed up for the Broadcast Meteorology Club. And once again, I was terrible. And I was like, I don't know if this is for me. I was like wearing T-shirts for the forecast. Maybe I'd dress up and wear a polo. I was this kid, by the way, that would wear shorts. Like every day, no matter the weather, I'd wear gym shorts like every day. I might put a coat on top, but I'd wear like gym shorts every day. So dressing up was kind of foreign to me, to say the least. So it's kind of funny seeing over the past 10, 15 years, how I'm pretty much wearing a suit every day now. So that took a little bit of an adjustment, but I interned over in Wilmington at WECT, and they were putting me on on the wall every single day. Got a lot of practice.
Sure.
I like to think I got a lot better through that, and I also interned up in Minnesota at KARE 11 there, and had a wonderful time. That was the best summer of my life. And they actually put me on air at the Minnesota State Fair there. I'm not going to say it's going to be an Emmy Award-winning broadcast or anything like that, but dipped my foot in that, and I was the president of the broadcast club by my senior year, graduating. And actually, I was the only one of those 9 kids I was just talking about to go into broadcast. So, I had my pick, I guess you could say.
There you go, and the rest is history. You mentioned experience across the state, and we're here in the Triad, as all of our viewers know. We're in the middle. And we have the mountains, we have the coast. We're not either of them, and our weather kind of varies a little bit compared to anybody. What is it you think about North Carolina weather that can be the most challenging to forecast, or maybe the most fascinating to kind of dig into?
It's funny how much our patterns are really dictated by the Appalachian Mountains. And of course, the Atlantic, the Gulf, that all comes to play as well. So, I mean, to answer the question, of course, it is everything. But I'm always fascinated by the Appalachian Mountains, especially because of cold air damming. I mean, that's just such a big event. We just had one earlier this week where we had, it's high pressure up to the north, filtering in that cold air, dams up against the mountains. That's why we call it that. Also called the wedge, of course. And how vastly different our weather would be without them. Because not only talking about cold air damming not existing, we could be a big tornado hotspot if it wasn't for that. Also, these systems tend to get big bites taken out of them by the mountains, and actually, really, I think a big reason why we could be in this drought right now, maybe because of that. I'm sure that's one to study for a while there. But I mean, it's just such a unique state where we have the tallest mountains east of the Rockies, pretty much right in our backyard, and then in the other direction we have the second biggest ocean in the world.
Sure. I think for us, the big events, usually they always boil down to snowstorms and hurricanes, and maybe a tornado or two in between. But are you more, if you had to pick a season, are you more of a summer guy, a winter guy, or the shoulder, something like the spring or the fall?
It's funny, as someone who grew up, watching the bottom line there, seeing which schools will be canceled on which day and all of that, I loved winter. And I still do love winter. But I will say, as much as I am a fan of snow, I haven't seen a whole lot of it as late. Now, obviously, this past winter was a big exception, but recently it just kind of feels like it's been cold for cold's sake, and even then it hasn't even been that cold. So I gotta say I'm kind of shifting more towards fall. I feel like the older I get, the less I'm liking the cold, especially when there is no snow. But I remember as a kid I loved winter. The thing is though, I just can't get around to summer. Don't get me wrong, I love going to the pool, love going to the beach, the lake, you name it. But I just hate humidity so much, not only because I have to put more product in my hair and all that, but I just really hate sweating, especially when we're out, in the weather garden wearing, 5 layers for no reason. It's 90 degrees outside. And I always say it's a lot easier to put clothes on than take them off.
That's right.
Let's just put it that way. No one wants to see all that. So.
Tough part of the country to live in if you don't like humidity. I don't like it either. There's nothing we can do about it. You don't really get used to it, I find, either. Okay, so we're talking about the Triad. We're talking about North Carolina. What are some questions we could go with here? Eastern or Western with the barbecue?
Barbecue,
Do you have a favorite?
I got to go with Eastern. I got to go Eastern. And it's so funny. I was just actually over at Lexington Barbecue, and they pretty much only serve Eastern, which I was shocked by because I thought Lexington was the capital of the Western style barbecue that's more tomato based, and of course the Eastern's the more vinegar, but they had pretty much just only the vinegar base. So I might need to ask them some questions about that. But I mean, the barbecue here is excellent. Again, we were just talking about Lexington. They have the barbecue festival, which I think is coming up pretty soon again. I'll be looking forward to that.
October, it's the big time to shine in Lexington. The whole streets get packed, and we'll be there.
Yeah, I know. I'm definitely an Eastern guy. I like the vinegar base for sure.
Okay, fair enough. As far as if you had to take a trip, you're going to take a trip, you're going to the beach or the mountains?
I love Oak Island so much. So usually whenever I am taking a trip, it's a pretty safe bet that I'm going to Oak Island. That said, I also love Asheville a lot, the Boone area as well. I mean, it's just a great college town. I have many college towns in North Carolina, but there really is something magical about the mountains. It honestly is hard to pick because I love going up to the mountains in the fall, obviously, the Blue Ridge Parkway. I know I'm not in the minority there, how busy it gets. And I mean, again, it's just a testament to how wonderful this state is that we have just such beautiful scenery on both sides of the state.
You can maybe run for governor here. This is a very political or very safe answer. Not picking one, not picking the other. All of them are fine.
I love it all. I love it all.
It is hard to pick. What is something the viewers, they're not going to see on screen with you? What are some things you enjoy off screen? It's not weather. It's not broadcasting. What are you doing in your free time?
Absolutely. I really just love, getting outside. I enjoy staying in shape. I try to stay in shape. As you may know, it is tough working these hours to, find time to go to the gym, to go play basketball. But I really do enjoy playing basketball. And the thing is, I really hate cardio. So it's not even that it's like hard, it's just boring to me. I just like, in case you haven't noticed, I really have an ADD track mind, to say the least. So it is hard for me to stay running and just doing nothing besides running for more than an hour or two. So basketball, playing sports, I played 3 sports, or actually really technically 4 sports in high school. I played football, basketball, baseball, and then I ran track the last 2 years. And so I love playing sports. That's a big thing there. I love team activities, that kind of thing. Because I really feel you learn a lot about people. When you put them in an adverse situation, that may not necessarily be at work, but it could be in sports. Sure. It's a lot easier to find out about people and how they work together. So I really love playing sports. Love my dogs, of course, as well. Sol and Teddy Fuega. Hello, if you're watching there. My 2 very fluffy dogs. They're a big fan of the winter as well. So you know what? That's another reason why I love winter, because my fluffy dogs are right there with me.
We've got another pet lover. It's always been a theme on the weather team. Ed Matthews, of course, legendary, getting all the animals adopted. A lot of animal lovers, a lot of pet lovers on the weather team. All right, we've talked a little bit about everything, I think, James. Anything else you want to say to your new Triad family?
I'm just really excited to be here, and just really excited to be a part of WFMY News 2.
We're going to have a lot of happy forecasting going forward and put you to work. All seasons, winter, spring, summer, fall. You can catch them in the mornings coming up soon on WFMY News 2.